We are on. We're ready.
All right, we'll go ahead and call our regular meeting of the Wayne County Board of Education to order. It's 6:01. If you'll stand, we'll say the pledge. Johnny, do you care to lead us this evening?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let the record show all board members are present in person this evening. And we'll begin with recognitions if we have any.
No recognitions and no presentations.
Moving on to our good news section.
Yeah, there's a couple of items. Lavalette Beta Club, they competed in the nationals and were able to win a couple of championships.
Wow.
And Justin has shared with us this evening. There's going to be an article in the paper about it tomorrow, and then of course we'll certainly get the information out on our social media channels. But they had a good trip and won some awards down there, so we're proud of those students. And then in your folder that I provided you tonight, Liz Ryder was contacted by the West Virginia Higher Education Policy Commission and notified that Buffalo Middle School has received the West Virginia Higher Education Action and Impact Award for exemplary middle school. And what the letter states is that there were both robust efforts from Career Exploration Day and financial literacy simulations to academic enrichment workshops and meaningful partnerships through the Heart of Appalachia Talent Search program, exemplify best practices in early college and career awareness. It mentions that there's an enhanced academic achievement through differentiated instruction and building strong relationships between students and staff reflects an inspiring model for middle school education across the state. Notably, the increase in student participation in program like HATS Middle School Camp and the overwhelming feedback from students who now see higher education as a viable and exciting path speaks volumes about the culture of aspiration you've cultivated. So congratulations to Buffalo Middle School. They've been invited on Wednesday, July 23rd to the Higher Ed Policy Commission's Student Success Summit where they'll be recognized. And of course, we'll be covering that. So that's fantastic.
Great. Yes.
And we had talked a few weeks ago about the county's college going rate and how we were in the top tier of the state for college going rate, and its activities like Buffalo Middle School is completing that helps raise that college rate. So we're certainly proud of their efforts.
Yes.
That's all I have for good news, unless anybody else has anything.
Anyone else?
That's good.
Good way to start. Informational items, regular board meeting on Tuesday, July 22nd at 6 p.m. here in the conference room. Regular board meeting again Tuesday, August 12th, 6 p.m. here in the conference room. And a regular meeting on Tuesday, August 26th, also at 6 o'clock here in the board conference room.
All righty.
Everyone good with those?
Yeah.
Yes.
Great. Moving on to our construction project updates.
So the Wayne Elementary School MIP continues. The sidewalks have been poured. I visited the site yesterday. The windows have been installed. They still need to be trimmed out, but they've been installed. This week, the ceilings are scheduled to start going in. They're also pulling data wire they're pulling data wire into the various rooms to hook up the technology. And the HVAC lines have been ran as well. And I think the plan is the units have already been set. I think the plan is to start hooking up the HVAC this week as well. So it's moving along.
Wow.
Are we going to be in there this fall or?
They're still projecting, yeah,
Okay.
knock on wood.
All right.
They're projecting the substantial completion date for the end of the month.
Okay.
Oh, great.
The Vinson MIP project, and forgive me if I repeat something from the previous meeting, but the board has to sign the acceptance letter and Missy was taking care of that for the school building authority. But that'll be our next project that we kind of get going. And our first step in that process is we have to officially go through architect selection process. So I'll be bringing that to you on a future agenda. The Buffalo Needs Project, we're still working through the design phase there. I have some images I'm going to share with you in just a little bit. But before I do that, let me mention a few other things. The Lavalette roof replacement is underway. If you've been up and down 152, you've seen them at work. So that's underway and should be completed here in a week or two. And then at Wayne High School, we had did the bid for the athletic buildings there on the visiting side of the football field. And we weren't happy with the bid prices that came in. So we have re-advertised that project and are soliciting further bids. Our pre-bid meeting is the 15th of July, and the bid opening will be July 22nd. So after that bid opening, hopefully I'll be able to bring a recommendation to you shortly after that. The first thing that's listed on superintendent director's reports is Buffalo Needs Project Design, and it kind of crosses over with the construction project, but I just wanted to share a couple of images with you. Hopefully my computer's still on.
It's just Tuesday.
I know, I feel like it's last week and this week kind of came together, so
Bless you. Oh, yeah.
crazy.
And then 4.
It was good. I put a little honey in your bag. It's a Stiltner's honey. It's local, so.
Oh, I take a teaspoon every day.
Yeah, yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
So thank you. I thought about it, but her birthday went well too. We had a good time.
Good.
So 14.
That's crazy.
I know it is. I love it.
Oh,
There
yeah.
we go.
She was so
I know she does. Yes, she looks like.
I know.
Oh, she's been.
Wow.
We gave her gifts at the dinner, and they got her some bathing suits she wanted. And the girls and I were talking.
There's your rendering of the project.
Okay, we're paying attention.
That's a rendering of the project. Okay, now those colors, this is a rendering, so those colors are not set in stone. We know that those.
That'd be more like a dark gray and white, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it'll be more in line with the school colors.
Yeah.
But this gives you an idea of what we're looking at with the project.
Where's the safe school entrance?
Underneath the canopy. So the remodeled cafeteria is back here. This is the existing 6th grade building. Dennis, when you said safe school entrance, I pointed here. That's the main entrance. The safe school entrance will be here. Okay?
That would be for pickups for,
Yes. That'll be for traffic once the students have arrived in the building.
okay.
And then the new wing is here.
Yeah.
And this is going out towards Buffalo Creek Road. This is the current entrance of the school. That'll be closed off. And again, that entrance, the main entrance will be here. This is currently where it's open. It goes
Yeah.
back to the
Yeah.
canopy that cuts between the two buildings. That's,
It's kind of in between, isn't it?
yeah, and there'll be a canopy, and we're actually going to take this canopy both ways, because in that traffic design, there's going to be students being dropped off from both loops. So we'll have a canopy both ways so that they would be covered on the sidewalks there.
And that's where the buses will go to pick up and,
Yeah, the buses will be here on this side,
okay.
and then the parents will come here and then loop out on this side.
What's a big white structure on this end?
You're talking about this?
Multi-purpose room.
That's a multi-purpose room.
Okay.
So basically, it's the kindergarten gym. Now, I lost one image, so give me just a second here.
Okay. clock's ticking, Todd.
Take me just a second.
12 minutes. We're ready.
It looks nice, though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I like the red. I know it's just, the red's just there.
I have one more image I want to share with you.
Are we getting closer to the money? Are we getting closer?
I think so. I think so.
I don't want to say that out loud.
Just going for a little bit longer.
I had an old friend of mine used to say my password's always ...
Hey, that's a good idea.
Good grief. I was trying to look at my,
Who would ever think?
I have so many different passwords,
Oh, I
then
know.
I have to change them.
Because I can't remember. I don't have them all in my phone, but
Well, my niece has an app, but she has one.
it keeps track of everyone.
Which one do you have? Is it App Manager or what is it?
I write them in my notes.
I don't do that in mine. That's my problem. See it?
That's where that's where I keep mine.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
But she says she has hers. It would be like putting it out there for everybody. Like these notes are so secure.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
I apologize. I had this one open too, but it had an ad pop up. And when I closed out the ad, closed out the picture too. But this will give you more of a view of the middle school side as well.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Okay.
Now, the offices all going to be together,
Yes.
elementary and
The
middle,
offices will be here in this building.
where the entrance is.
Yes. There'll be, this will be the central office area.
That's a new structure that's going in and to fill in the empty space, right?
That's the current sixth grade building. That'll be converted to the offices. And then this whole new wing will be all elementary with the multi-purpose building at the end. Here for the middle school, there's one addition here. This is the gym, and currently there's nothing in the space. That addition will be a band room. And that's going to allow us to use the existing space. That extra space will allow us to turn this sixth grade wing and make it main office.
Will the library stay in the same place?
Yes,
Will they be in a library for elementary or will they all share?
they will share.
Okay.
That will be one thing that's shared, and then of course the cafeteria will be
Cafeteria.
renovated as well.
Looks nice.
Now, again, we're in the conceptual stage here, so we still got a long ways to go. We have to take it out to bid, adjust to the prices.
How many students are we thinking about?
It's going to be the second largest school in the district
Okay. I was just wondering because I
What, behind CK Elementary,
behind Spring Valley.
Spring Valley, okay.
Be a little bit bigger
Wow.
than CK Elementary. So I think at the last meeting I had shared the floor drawings with you.
yeah, but I like
It'll probably end up like when they open up Wayne Elementary, a new one. It seems like a bunch of people moved from those little satellite schools and it hurt the smaller schools. You think that'll happen here?
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to attract, and I think that there's been quite a few people that have headed over CK's way. So it'll be good
Get them back.
to get some of that
They'll
traffic
come back.
back. toward
Yeah, that's, Twin Valleys and all that, yeah.
Yeah, because we're busting at the seams there. Okay,
Twin
I just
Valley.
wanted to share that with you.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Yep.
Moving on down on the reports, and we skipped over delegations.
We'll go back if we need, but I don't think we need.
I don't think, yeah,
Um,
unless she's going to combine.
The next thing on the list is fiscal year 2026 budget approval. And there's a letter. It's got the state seal at the top in your packet. I think it's about the fourth or fifth thing back.
Yep.
And it's just a letter from the state superintendent of the schools, Michelle Blatt, announcing the counties whose budgets have been approved. And you'll see that Wayne is on that list. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention, that the version of the budget that we submitted was approved.
You might want to change that.
Then the other item I'm going to mention that I don't have too much information about other than the email that's in your packet. There's an email here from the federal programs assistant superintendent in charge of federal programs for the state. And right near the end of June, there started being some communications that the U.S. Department of Education was not releasing certain title funds. And so this email kind of explains the current status. And it says the following funding services are impacted. Title 1C, which is the education of migrant children. Title 2A is supporting effective instruction. Title II money we used to do a lot of PD and pays for trainings, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Title 3A, language instruction for English learners. And we do have the English language program here. Title 4A, student support and academic enrichment. And Title 4B, 21st Century Community Learning Centers. We're part of that program as well. So those funding expenditures, there's usually a budget that is sent out and the funds are released by July 1st. But at this point, the U.S. Department of Education is holding that money. And you can see here that the state is recommending a review of the budget to determine if there's any immediate planned expenditures, such as salaries, that are going to need to be covered by other funding sources.
Wow.
And then they recommend a review of the budget to determine priorities and look at the possibility of drawing other federal funds, such as other Title I funds or local funds, to pay for services deemed essential. So here over the next week or two, we're going to be reviewing the items that are contained within these budgets to see what adjustments need to be made in our planning.
So considering that Linda McMahon is the Secretary of Education, now we got this to deal with, to wrestle with. Yeah, I mean, the word that we had earlier and I had shared with you earlier is they didn't think that the title programs were going to be impacted. I mean, I guess the good news is that I haven't seen anything about any special ed funding being held up
Yeah.
or any food service funding being held up. But these are things that will definitely impact us, and we'll be looking over the next few weeks at how we're going to plan it if those monies are not released. And so I will give you an update at the next meeting.
Okay.
And that's all I had for updates.
All right.
Okay.
So just for the record, we had no delegations this evening.
Yep.
And that concludes our superintendent reports. So we have no board directives. Board reports are our board self-evaluation for 24-25 school year.
All 5 of you have completed it, and it is in your packet.
Yes.
And so we will submit the evaluation to the state, and that will satisfy the requirements for the board for the year as far as the self-evaluation process goes.
Yourself, I thought that automatically went in because we did it online.
It might. It might. I'm going to check Dennis and see if we have to do something separate, but I'm not sure if they have access directly to it or not, but we'll make sure that they do. I think the only thing that was anything of a concern in there is about regularly scheduled policy review. And we do policy review during different times of the year. It's not regularly scheduled, and I think that was the reason that concern came up.
All right, so that's complete then. No unfinished business, so we can move on to our new business. Consent action items. Superintendent recommends the approval of the following action items. Additional items received prior to the time of the meeting may be added. Discussion and or separate action of items may be requested by members of the board and or the superintendent. Number one is consider for approval the recommended personnel matters on page 1. And I think we have a revised version of that.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve the revised version.
Motion by Johnita for the revised.
And the revisions are, there's a date correction for a leave of absence for Tammy Williamson. That's listed from July 23rd to November 1st. And then for employment, Elizabeth Calvert is being recommended for the assistant principal position at Kellogg Elementary. That was blank when we posted the agenda, but Elizabeth Calvert is the recommendation there. And then the under transfers, there's blanks there. That was in case the selected applicant, in case that would result in a transfer. It did not, so that's simply being removed from the personnel lines.
You need a second?
Second? Yes.
I'll do it.
Dennis? Any other questions, concerns, comments? All right. So for personnel matters, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. 2 and 3 are minutes, one from June 3rd and one from June 10th, pages 2 through 15. If we could consider those collectively.
2 and 3?
Uh-huh.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Dennis.
I'll second, well, you can second, but there's a couple of revisions need to be made.
Okay.
One set of the minutes.
Gotcha. Second by Randy. What are the changes?
What are they?
Okay, they both relate to our meeting on June 3, 2025. Page number 2 is where the first one is.
Okay.
In the first paragraph, it states that the meeting was held in the board conference room in Wayne. No, it was held at the Wayne High School in the cafeteria. I remember that meeting,
That's the June 3rd meeting.
June 3rd meeting. So that needs to be changed.
High school.
The other correction is on page number 6. If you get to page number 6, you'll see paragraph number 12. As written, the paragraph says, motion by Randy Troutwine, seconded by Randy Troutwine. And while I have an ego, I don't think I could get away with doing
That was
that.
a pretty good trick.
Okay, then.
I don't know who seconded it, but I
Is
could
that
have
the
been
same,
me.
is that the same set of minutes?
Yeah, it's still on June 3, I believe.
Okay, so let's do this. Let me just pull the June 3rd minutes, and because we'll need to see who made the motion or who made the second, whichever it might be. So we'll pull the June 3rd and bring it back to you.
Now, if you'll let me do all that all the time, I can be very efficient.
Move things right along, wouldn't it?
We will just pull item number 2.
Okay, pulling.
We're pulling item number 2.
Number 2.
We're considering the minutes
Okay.
under item number
Yeah, we
3.
Was that that
That would be the
No,
June
there
3rd.
would have been a second.
principal thing?
Correct.
No, it was a different one.
Okay.
Different one.
Okay, so this is just for the June 10th minutes. Dennis made the motion. Randy will keep that as the second. Any other questions or concerns on that set of minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Number 4, consider for approval purchase requisition order and quotes in excess of $5,000 on page 16. Motion,
Motion.
Randy, second.
Second.
Anita? Any questions, concerns? You don't have any. No one? All right, all in favor then?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. New business, separate action items. Number 1, consider for approval the bid for contractor services for the Cerrito Canova Elementary Major Improvement Project.
Yeah, so at the last meeting, and in your folder, there's a letter from Neighbor Gall Construction. At the last meeting, I shared a similar letter with you. And we pulled the item from the agenda because I wanted to get school building authority feedback and feedback from some other experts about some of the revisions that have been proposed in the project. And so this is a revised letter, a revised proposal. And what this proposal does is it keeps item number 2 in the proposal. And you remember that was where they would hook up to the fire water line up to 5 feet outside the building. That's been extended to 20 feet, which we believe will take care of the issue. The other 2 items that we looked at was the copper wiring instead of the aluminum wiring. So we kept the copper wiring, and then the Schedule 40 pipe. I think it was Schedule 40, and they had proposed about knocking that down to Schedule 10 to help reduce the price. Schedule 40 pipe stays within the plans. So those were the 3 significant things. So with the changes listed on this letter, that reduces the bid price by $115,000, and it would bring a new contract amount for the project at $1,035,000. And this $1,035,000 is the maximum that we can go on a renegotiation because of the 10% limit. So the SBA had informed me, even if we could reduce it further, we can't go below this dollar amount.
Okay.
And you remember for this particular project, we have a $900,000 grant for this. So that will pay off the majority. Our side of it will be about $135,000. Okay. And this is going to sprinkle the basement of the CK Alumni Gym, and it's going to put in exit doors into it, and it's going to put HVAC into that. We were talking about CK Elementary is busting at the seams. They need some additional space. It will also, when we do this work, allow the locker rooms in the facility to be used for the first time, and I don't know how long, because right now they're currently off limits because of fire safety regulations. Right. So that's the amount that we have in front of you. So I think at this point in time, that's that is a amount we can go with. Now, certainly if we didn't have a $900,000 grant to go along with this, I wouldn't recommend it. But with the $900,000 grant, I would recommend that we go ahead and
So
approve.
this has to be approved by the state school board or the school building authority?
No, the school building authority's good. They addressed what their concerns were with me.
They just the state has to approve the changes.
Yes. Yeah. So we're good. If you all are given final approval, if you approve, we'll be able to move forward with the project. So I would recommend to you that I would recommend the bid from Neighbor Gall at $1,035,000 for the CK Elementary Major Improvement Project.
Motion to approve.
I'll make a second.
Motion by Joe Avon, second by Dennis. Any other questions or concerns? Is there contingency money in this as well?
No.
No. So that's just straight up the pricing.
That's it.
Okay. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. When will they get started on that? Do you know?
We've got to talk to them. They're going to have to order the HVAC equipment. So I don't think we'll get this done probably till spring.
Okay.
But I'll let you know when they give me an idea what the scheduling is going to be.
Gotcha. All right. Number 2, consider for approval the following curriculum purchase for 25-26 school year. Social studies, K-12, per the recommendation of stakeholder adoption committees. We have an elementary teacher created materials exploring social studies, middle school 6th and 7th, HMH education for social studies, 8th grade, Gallup-Aid, West Virginia history, High school has several there: U.S. history, world history, contemporary civics, personal finance, U.S. history, and geography. A total cost of $572,712. And there's also a Carnegie Learning Math at $142,611.20. Carnegie Math Additional Text, $7,183.50. And Renaissance Learning at $172,916.63.
Yeah, so the math, you remember we did the math adoption last year. But if you remember at the time, the state had came out and the finance office had said that counties were not allowed to pay up front for the textbooks. And so Carnegie had agreed at the time to stagger the price out over a 5-year period. So we had to pay less up front, but we'll pay some out each year to satisfy that contract. And so Tanya, when we had the board meeting at Wayne High School, so Randy, it must have been June 3rd, she gave a presentation on all these materials and about the committee that was there. And so this is a follow-up. This is to approve those amounts so that we can go ahead and get the books in for the upcoming year.
Motion.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Second.
Any other questions or concerns on our textbook?
Yeah, just one thing jogged my memory. I think this maybe came up at that June thing. How often do we get new history books? And how often do we do that?
It used to be on a 5-year rotation. I think they're looking at a 4-year rotation now. I'll get the specifics on that.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I'm just curious because there's some subject I know, man, science can change all the time.
Yeah.
History, if you didn't cover that last 5 years, well, how much you going to do in the 5 years in a school, the last 2 weeks of school? That's the only thing I wonder about is how often we do need to change.
Just
those.
so they don't revise the history from years ago.
Yeah, it's currently required that there's an adoption every 4 to 5 years. And as we discussed before, for some subjects, I question that, especially with the amount of money that's being spent for it. But we are following requirements right now.
Okay. Well, all we do is follow. But it just kind of,
All we do.
I mean, I go back many decades. I can remember when I had history, I was always frustrated. They cover American history and it always end around the Spanish-American War. And it's like, geez, I want, let's get the rest of it.
Right?
One little World War II.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's its comment.
All right. Any other questions, concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Consider for approval the MOU between Wayne County Board and Mountain State for visual impairment services by hiring one at-will itinerant classroom associate for the 25-26 school year at a cost of $26,160, plus fringe and a 7% administrative fee for a total of $55,603 for the 25-26 school year. Motion.
Motion.
Second. Anyone?
Second. You can have it.
Dennis? Questions or concerns on that position?
And this position provides aid to an employee that we have that's visually impaired.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Consider for approval the pest control contract with Standard Exterminating at an annual cost of $8,983.80, July 1st through June 30th. That should be 2026, right?
Yes.
Motion,
I'll make it.
Dennis, second.
Second.
Randy. Questions or concerns on that contract? No one? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Number 5, consider for approval out-of-state travel request. Employee to travel to Naples, Florida to attend Carnegie Learning T&I Leadership Conference, July 20th through 24th, and that's funded by Title I. Motion,
Motion.
Randy, second,
Second.
Johnita. Questions or concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. 6 is consider for approval the lease renewal between Wayne County Board and Philadelphia United Baptist Church for the Lavalette Elementary School's use of the church parking lot from July 1st, 25 through June 30th, 26 at an annual cost of $8,340. Motion,
I'll make a motion.
second,
Second.
Randy.
Brent, is this the same amount every year, Todd?
That's what I thought.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. 7, consider for approval the lease renewal between Wayne County Board and PD&P Developers for a parcel of land used for purpose of parking for the central office employees at a cost of $5,580 for July 1st through June 30th, 2026.
This is the same price as last year as
Yeah.
well.
Okay.
This is the parking area immediately behind the building.
Motion.
Randy, second. Johnita.
Oh, yeah. If he stole first, yeah.
Any questions or concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Number 8, consider for approval the preschool calendar for 25-26 school year on page 26,
Page 21.
or 21, yeah,
But you can go ahead and look at 26.
I guess.
We get our calendar approved first for grades K through 12, and then pre-K adjusts from theirs, and their calendar's a little bit shorter than ours.
Well, we need a motion. Motion by Mark, second,
Second.
Johnita. Any questions or concerns on that calendar?
Nope.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Potential items for a future agenda.
Yeah, there were a couple things I wanted to mention. The 2026 district goals, we'll be setting goals for the year for the district and for myself. So we'll start having that conversation at your next board meeting. So if anything's pressing on you that you want to consider, just be prepared to discuss it that evening. And then we'll have the same set of goals that we had last year to start the discussion, and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
And then the second item is, with this being the month of July, all the finances reset. So any anticipated expenditures such as, food for the upcoming year, et cetera, we have to start encumbering that money. So I know we've been used to here the last few months, very few purchase orders on the agenda. You'll see a lot more on the next agenda because there's nothing encumbered right now other than what you've already approved, or amounts under $5,000. So we'll have to bring quite a few encumbrances to you at the next meeting. So be prepared to see more purchase orders. And I think that's all I have.
I got a couple things I'd like to ask a question about. I've asked it before about the snow removal contract. When are we going to bid that? Because before, I'd like to do it when the sun's shining and not wait till December.
Okay. We'll shoot to get it out here by the end of the month, get it in the paper.
And the second thing is when do you project the property at Westmoreland to be out of our hands and the utility switch from those two properties, actually the Fort Gay one and
Yeah.
the Westmoreland properties, to be out of our names?
I'm hoping to get and I'm going to follow up tomorrow with our attorney on the status of the paperwork. She had sent me a message last week when I was on vacation that they were nearing completion. So as soon as I get that paperwork, I'll give it to the Historical Society, and it'll kind of be dictated by how quickly they turn it around. I think that'll be fairly quick. So once that occurs, we'll need time to move the teen center out of the property. So I would say within the next 60 days, we should be able to get it switched over.
What's the plans on that?
Is the Fort Gay property the same, or is those utilities already been transferred out of our names?
No, I'm still waiting for the deed transfer. And so our attorney is working on that deed transfer now. I've already got the signed agreement. I've sent the agreement that we approved has been signed off on. I've sent the agreement to Fort Gay for their signature. And our attorney is working on the deed transfer now. So that should happen by the end of the month.
So I guess just a straight up question. Has access already been granted, or the utilities that are being used, the air conditioning and stuff, we're still paying for that?
No, I haven't granted any access to the facility, to the town, because the deed hasn't transferred yet.
What about the Westmoreland? I mean, are we still gonna have some of that, or are we still dealing with that?
We're still dealing with that. Yeah.
Okay, the only thing that we're taking care of is the,
The
that
gym
part
and
of
the
the
two
historic-
classrooms. Yeah.
okay, so when are we gonna get this, when are we gonna do something about the rest of it?
We can place that on your agenda for the next meeting.
Seems like it's dragging on.
When will we be making a decision on moving a pre-K to Kellogg Elementary?
We had a discussion today with Playmates about the board's wishes about the program being at Kellogg. And I know that, we've talked about that before and it's been communicated before.
Yeah.
But the fact that, there's no wish on the board's part to move away from that property, to transfer that property over and to keep a pre-K program operating there when we've got space down the street.
Right.
So I'm planning on going down this week and doing a full evaluation on what it would take for the pre-K programs to be relocated there. And then we'll bring that cost to you, and then you can decide what we're going to do with the building. Okay, we can do that at the next meeting.
So I was just going to say, you think that will be something that we'll be able to get accomplished before school starts? Because, we're in the middle of July almost already.
Yeah,
Opening up a pre-K program down there, no. If
That's
we
the
if we get an agreement to move it down there, what I would recommend is that, and of course that'll be up to you, but I would recommend that there be some lead time before, because there'll have to be work done down at the site. There'll have to be a playground put in, and that's going to take some time.
Or is it second semester or what?
Yeah, or the beginning of next year.
at least get started on it.
Headed
Yeah,
to
what
the
about
right.
that student center where they all go after school? Where you plan on moving it?
The offer is going to be to move it to Benson Middle School.
In that commons area?
No, they have, where that was Benson High School, they have empty rooms that are available. And Mrs. Hurley, the principal, has indicated to me that she has 2 rooms that she can dedicate to the program.
Good. That's great. So, and then we will be rid of that building, right? I mean, that property is it going to be gone then? Will we not have anything?
It could sit there empty if we wanted it to.
Huh?
It could sit there empty if we wanted to.
But I mean, we're not
We're
going to
still
be
go-
paying anything on it.
Right, the utilities would be shut
Right,
off.
Everything, that's what I
Right,
want to
we
know.
would still have to keep it insured, but we would have
Right,
those 6
okay.
classrooms there. So that's going to be trickier on, a plan for that
Oh, yeah.
portion of the building. But
Right, exactly. I see that until after they're moved.
Still have negotiations going on.
Yeah, I
right?
understand that.
Yeah.
Do you know what those utilities are just for those 6 classrooms? I know I've asked that before. I don't know.
I know what the facilities are for the entire
Right.
building,
Yeah, 'cause
but
it's
not
all
for the
together,
6
probably.
How
classrooms
much
alone.
are
I
they
don't
for
know.
the entire complex?
I don't know off the top of my
Okay.
head, but I'll have it for you at the next meeting. Actually, I'll share it with you before the next meeting.
That's fine. I'm just-
Yeah.
Just curious. I'm just thinking every dime that we can get out of that, we can put.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and sooner the better, I think, too.
Absolutely.
Instead of just keep dragging on.
Well, I think we've tried to be
Fair.
Exactly.
More than-
It's very-
more than
Exactly, yeah, we have
Yeah.
been very, I
And
mean,
it's
that's
just
what
not-
I'm saying
It's
to
not
people
seeming
or
to be
anything, but
working, so,
I think there's been enough time,
right,
you know,
you're
Yeah,
right.
those
Rick.
utilities have been paid for a long time too.
so, okay. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll mention one other thing to
Maybe
you.
not.
Just,
Hold
well,
on.
just in case anyone's interested, I'm sure you saw in the news recently how state of West Virginia, they've been granted, and as a lawyer, still can't pronounce certiorari, but they've been granted a writ that will be heard in the United States Supreme Court, the issue about whether or not Title IX prevents a state from consistently designating girls and boys sports teams based on biological sex. And
Right.
anyway, that was in the news. I went ahead and made a copy of the actual petition that was filed. If anybody's interested in reading that, I know last year to meet the candidates event, one guy was wanting to, I think, refight the Battle of Gettysburg, which I thought was a little, well, out there. But this is a proper way if you
Good.
want to contest that. And U.S. Supreme Court is going to hear it, so
That's good.
we won't know how that'll turn out for a number of months, but